Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, what I want to do is pay a tribute to the Around the Horn series, which aired on ESPN from 2002 until 2025. The last episode aired on May 23rd, 2025. I wanted to say that, the show may be gone, but it will not be forgotten. It was a beloved show by many, including me. It became part of my daily routine. It was part of my life. To me, I really was enamored with it. When I would eat my lunner, I call it, at 4 p.m., I would, often watch Around the Horn at the same time. And it really, just became again, it's such an integral part of my life. Now, let me kind of elaborate on what the show was about. Around the Horn, was a sports show that aired on ESPN. Again, it was from 2002 until 2025, and again, the last episode aired on May 23rd, 2025. The thing about it was, it was a sports show, and you'd have four panelists on the show, and they would debate various sports topics, and they would be awarded X amount of points, depending on the quality of their answers to the question. They would have the host, Tony Reali, would ask each contestant to give them the same question, and again, they would be awarded X amount of points based on the quality of the answer that was given. And really, I wish it would never have ended. I actually got choked up, around the last week that it was airing, and I felt very dejected and despondent regarding this. And I will miss this show dearly. The contestants on it, Tony Reali. I do hope they do a reboot possibly on it. I have heard some fans on some YouTube comments, were stating something about maybe do a suggestion, maybe do a reboot on YouTube. And the thing about this show too is that you had it wasn't just all completely sports. You had people give insight on other things in life. I can remember, I believe his name was Clinton Yates, one of the panelists on the show. It was shortly after, I believe, that insurrection took place in the White House. He gave a very passionate, little, take on that at the end of the show. I think it may have been during the FaceTime at the end of one of the segments. And, and even Israel Gutierrez, another one of the panelists on the show, recently had done something where he said, something about the power of emotion on the show and about community, and he was very choked up, by this. And he had experienced death recently, and people had shared, some of their personal things going on in their life on the show. And it was just something that was more than just about sports on it. And this is a show, a lot of the moments of the show is one that transcends time. I believe this is something that we'll never really see again. I don't think I'll ever have another show that I will like nearly as much as this show, and it just became such a part of a ritual for me. I believe I may have started watching around 2005, maybe shortly before or after that point in time. And I can remember just talking to people, I want to watch Around the Horn, or sometimes I may ask a friend, could you put it on, please? And if I'm visiting somebody or staying at another person's place, and because that's how much I wanted to see it. It didn't matter where I was or what I was doing. If I was there I had the TV, I was going to do whatever I could to see the episode, because that's how much, again, I was so enamored with the show. And it really was just such an enjoyable part of my life. It's so disheartening to see it go. And I saw something on YouTube, there was one video where it was like somebody was was talking about saying that Tony Reali, hey, he had got fired from ESPN, which I don't believe was true. I know the Around the Shore, I could say that again, the Around the Horn series had ended, but the show had ended, but I believe Tony Reali was under contract with ESPN until August of 2025. So there's no way he left. And it just kind of bothered me because the person almost sounded like he was reveling in the, in this like demise of the show, basically the ending of the show. And, and for me, I don't know how anyone could really dislike, the show Around the Horn. It gave so many, tremendous memories connected with it. You had one of the guests on panelists, Woody Page. I mean, he was hilarious. He was very whimsical. You have like what they call like Woodyisms, comical. He'd have something that was like patented for him. He'd have like in the background, he'd have a chalkboard. He would have something comical written on it constantly. It'd be like, like how like I'll put on some of my on my Facebook wall, I'll write something like, when Mercury is retrograde, I'll say I feel like doing things backwards, and I'll write it in backwards form. I'll write it in reverse. And Woody Page would have similar things on there where he would put very kind of like witty type, statements on there, and it was something that made the show more enjoyable because it had a whimsical quality to it. People had, a very good, robust sense of humor, and it made the show more interesting because naturally, if you had too many people on there that were just overly placid and calm and serious, it wouldn't be quite as entertaining. So you got to have, the humor that's involved in it. And I felt bad also because my understanding is that Tony Reali, and the host of the show, he had offered some ideas to the producers of the show in order to prolong it and keep it going, but apparently it didn't do any. It was to no avail. And I really don't understand why they would get rid of a show that had such strong longevity and tenure connected with it. Why it would just end so abruptly the way it did. Tony Reali in an interview, I think it was with Dan Patrick, he had said something about, I don't know if it was some with the woke community or something, and there was some other reason, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but the thing about this is, it's just not, to me, it's almost like it's mind-boggling to have a show that it had such a great run for so many years, that was on ESPN for over 2 decades, and for this to happen to it, it just, to me, it seems preposterous to me. It just doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, and it's going to be, to me, again, it was very saddening because it was such a strong, and figured so prominently in my life, and now that is taken away, and I don't know if there's going to be any show for me that would ever supplant it. This is a show to me that transcended time. I don't know if I'm going to see anything like this. I remember there was an episode of Around the Horn back in, I believe it was 2020. It was when I believe it was that day when Kobe Bryant tragically passed away because of he died in a helicopter crash. And at the end of the show, Tony Reali said something like, "There'll never be another Kobe Bryant." But I would say there'll never be another Around the Horn. So that is something for me that to remember, keep in mind. And for those of you out there that are big time sports fans, I really don't see how a sports show could really surpass Around the Horn. This is something became an indelible fixture in my life. Something that will, the memories, I mean, they could eradicate the show, but of course, the memories of it will always still be with me. That will never go away. Those memories will be there. It doesn't change the fact, of course, that the show is gone, but, the memories are everlasting. They will stay there, forever for me. It's just, again, it always hurts to see something, go. I understand people become, sad and despondent when, somebody in your life dies, but, this is like a figurative death. To me, it's a death of a show that became part of me, and I don't get saddened by the ending of shows. I don't know if I ever did. This is the first time. I think I may have been choked up by the end of a show on TV, because this was something I had watched so consistently for so long, and it was just, it just became such a strong part of my life, and I'm still, really awestruck. I mean, I'm really just, very surprised and bewildered just by the fact that this has actually come to an end. But, we have to understand, that everything in life does come to an end, whether there's death, whether it's due to its people dying, or it's a show that will that will go at some point. Nothing lasts forever, of course, and this is something, good case in point. It just sometimes it becomes so hard to accept when we see something like this, and it just because I guess because I'm such a strong sports fan, this is something I really strongly appreciated. And, I'm just so saddened by the ending. But, by any chance that if any of the, Tony Reali or any of the contestants of the show see this, I just wanted to say thank you to Infinity for all you did on this show, for making this such a tremendous show, for having it being so entertaining, adding a whimsical quality to it, making it very enjoyable for me and so many people throughout the years that this show transcends time. Again, I just don't see how there could be another sports show that can parallel this, that could even come close to replicating this in terms of its quality. And I think for me, it's a show that I'll strongly miss. I do hope they can revive it somehow, whether it's on YouTube or some other way. Maybe there will be a reboot at some time. I'm sure Tony Reali, I wouldn't be surprised if he's contemplated this, but I mean, naturally, Tony Reali has to do whatever is best for himself. I mean, if he gets some kind of deal somewhere and he's got a position where he's got a lucrative offer somewhere and it has nothing to do with a reboot of this show, I understand that he has to take what he has to get, what he has to do what he has to do. But maybe whether it's him or could even be another person that would host the show, I would love to see Tony Reali actually do another like around the horn kind of show. But if it comes down to another host doing it, then I would be up for that as well. I really would like to see the show be somehow resurrected and revived at some point. But time will tell whether that's meant to be or not. And I do hope that we can continue to see this in some capacity somewhere, whether it's on YouTube or it's on it's on television or what have you. And I'm just thinking I don't really have much else to really to add to this. At this point, I just wanted to again show my appreciation through this tribute and have people understand that this is this was a show that was larger than life. I mean, it had such a strong impact, on others, I believe, and in what it is, inspired others to perhaps want to be on the show as well. And I think it gave people, when people would go on there, if there were sports writers or whatever they were, it gave them exposure and let people know more about who these people were, and gave them an opportunity to express their knowledge to many viewers out there as well. So in that sense, it was very beneficial as well to those people, and it allowed others to to become more knowledgeable about sports through these contests, through the competition that was on the show. So I mean, kudos to that, to the people on there that provided so many awesome memories to me and many others on there. And I do hope that, and even if the show does not ever revived, I wish, Tony Reali and all the, contestants on there, well, the competitors on there, the panelists, wish them the best and their future, their life, their future endeavors, or what have you. So that's what I wanted to state at this time, and I don't think I got anything else to say about the show except, again, thanks for all the awesome memories and for being one of my few bright spots in my life. I don't have many now. I didn't have many at the time that the show was airing, and it helped enliven me. It helped make things in my life a lot happier during that time, and it did cause it did brighten my days big time. So I wanted to thank ESPN for Around the Horn for providing this for me. Anyway, people, this is Edwin Learnard. Until next time, stay well.